What's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and I'm going to be going over the NBA and the MLB slate a little bit for tonight. And some of you were asking, like what else you have going on, whatever it is. And um, this is, I guess, I'll give you a little taste, I guess, of all the stuff that I have going on. And again, this is after market hours, so business is kind of over. But I was talking to my wife about this stuff. And hey, what's up, Kevin? And my friend Arcadi tells me, I don't know, he doesn't know how I do all the stuff that I do. My wife says, like, what are you going to do when you retire? I'm like, retire? I have so many freaking things that take up my time. I mean, Kevin remembers back when I did poker like all the time. I was managing a hedge fund full time and still playing a bunch and managing the whole backing stuff. It's So like right now, I mean, I'm dealing with the MLB lineups. Also, we have these survivor pool things that I have to finalize for the March Madness stuff. So I have that going on. Then I have these pick sixes going on here with horse racing. Whenever there's a carryover, me and my partner, we do all this. We're sweating this kind of stuff. Um, the MMA stuff. I have to do more of the betting breakdowns for that, so I have this up to kind of remind me. Got DraftKings lineups to put in, FanDuel lineups to put in, and then tomorrow we have our first tournament for the AAU team that I help out with, and I'm kind of reviewing some of the stats and the analytics from last year that I compiled. The idea going into this year, well, every year I try to minimize the amount of bad twos that these teams take. Try to keep this under 10%. So this is the beginning of the new season. So this is the type of things that we try to want to get rid of. So the first thing I'm going to probably do is kind of like remind them of like the bad twos they took last year. So with Huddle here, you can click on this and we record every game. So I look at these bad twos over here and just kind of show them what are bad shots, what are good shots, and things like this. So this one wasn't bad. They gave this one a 3, a 2, but it was really a 3. But this one's like this is terrible, So I have to prepare all this stuff for them as well, and so that's all day tomorrow before the MMA slate starts. And I'm going out to dinner with Mrs. Sheets in about an hour and a half. So we'll take care of all that. So let's get rid of the Huddle. We'll get rid of the MMA because we can deal with that. I do want to keep SaberSim up because I want to show you the stuff that I'm playing in DFS. Don't really need to keep these up here because we're going to just upload anyway. I think I'm done with my splash stuff, so we can get rid of that. So this is the Pater range of outcomes that I kind of put up here. It's kind of listing the pitchers today in terms of median and things like that. I'll share with you what I have. I mean, for me, let me just see. Where are we? DraftKings? Let's pull up DraftKings first. Hold on. So this is going to be main slate. Yeah, I have Sandy Alcantara being the number one pitcher, and with pretty close between him, Sale, and Mike Burrows. All three of those look to be my top values. Then after that, I mean, I've got a couple of others here, honestly. I mean, Kirby, Gausman, Michael King, Sheehan, Cole Reagans, they're all fine. Actually, Sheehan is fine. I have a big drop actually to Reagans, so I heard some people talking about him. I don't know if I'm going to get down there. I don't really, that's I don't think I'm going to be paying up for that. So for me, the way I would rank the pitchers today is Alcantara, Sale, and Burrows. And then you drop that. And then the next tier I would have is Kirby, Gausman, King, and Sheehan. And it's kind of funny. You couldn't have been worse as far as a take on the way the season was going to start with me yesterday. Actually, we all did yesterday. What did we say? We said pitchers had no ceiling. right? What do we have? Like 6 pitchers get 30 fantasy points. That's the first thing I said. And the second thing was that hitters didn't really have much of a ceiling. What do we have? Like 100 teams with 14 runs, something like that. So good job, Sheets, already 0 for 1 on the macro view. Saw that Bobby had he was doing well on the 555, and he dropped down. He late swapped off of somebody that would have made him more money, I imagine. That's the way it goes, though. I mean, you can't worry about your decision making like that. You just have to go through your process. Okay. So let's see what James has relative to, let's look at his ownerships, by the way. Let's see how they compare to mine, I think. So he's got Alcantara at 40%, and then Sale, and then Kirby. Let me see, just for funsies, what I have here. Hold on a minute. Let's I guess this is DraftKings. Hold on, I will pull this up actually. Let's see. Where's this FanDuel? Hold on a minute. No, that wasn't FanDuel. Hold on a second. One sec. I'll share this with you. So this is what my current run is. No, those are my lineups. Sheets, you are really just killing it today, aren't you? Really just like firing off your time management skills. Okay, so these are lineups. It's not what I want. One sec. Oh, it's got to be right here. Boom. Download.
What do you download?
Oh, what's going on, man? Hang on. No, this is my own problem. Hold on a minute.
We've got Sheets with his own problems.
Yeah, I got many time management issues going on right here, but that's okay. I just wanted to share what my here it is. I just wanted to pull up my ownerships and see how they compare to yours, just for a moment.
So really quick on the next run, I will say that I'm pushing up Burrow's ownership a bit. Apparently, he's getting steamed up a bit. So pushing him up a little bit. And then
Burrows, huh?
Yeah. Apparently. I didn't see him getting that much ownership, but if he's getting pushed up a little bit, then
what's his first name?
That's
Mike Burrows. Yeah, what do you have him at? What are you going to use?
So I'm not sure what it's going to come out to, because there's some math that happens in the run. Right now it's running through NHL right now, so we'll find out MLB here in a sec. I set his base to let me go check. I can at least check to see who I think he's going to be close to. I have him just above Gossman. I have him with the 4th highest ownership.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So then I'm under right now. I only have him at 14%.
Yeah, I imagine I'll have him at 20, something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, as sharp and as really good as my ownership projections are in some things, my baseballs are just not nearly as good as,
sure,
honestly, as like main sites are. Honestly, I'm working on it, trying to get better. But
ownership for MLB is funny. The multi-positional eligibility threw some wrenches in it initially, and then like now, especially on FanDuel ownership is just fucked. You got guys who can play like 4 positions, man. It's weird. So I don't blame you. I think that MLB is one of the hardest ones to project really well.
Well, so it seems as though the idea today is to pay down for these dudes so you can play the Dodgers, right? Isn't that the story, or no?
So I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have, if you go over and look at the models and you go over to scoring percentages, actually, you can stay on this one. You'll see the scoring percentages instead of the player ROO. You can stay on this page and just go in the app right next to player ROO. It's yellow. Nope. Under. Nope. On the app. The app that you already have open. So there's hand builder stacks. Go store. There you go. All right. So I expect if you sort that by DK team ownership, I expect it to be Dodgers with the highest team ownership, but that's almost all Ohtani. I expect Ohtani to be like 40% owned.
I have him at 39, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's essentially half of the Dodgers ownership. I don't actually think they're going to be that chalky outside of him. And then Miami is the team that I expect to have like the most ownership.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it's the Rockies. And
well, hold on. Who's pitching for the Rockies?
Fucking Freeland.
Okay, listen to me. Okay, listen. But Bobby's not here. Okay. Bobby's like away for a couple of days. Listen, I know Bobby a long time as far as baseball goes. I promise you that if he were here, he would say, "Do not stack the Marlins." Okay, we have made like a living out of not stacking teams against Kyle Freeland over the years. Okay, so you call him effing Freeland. We call Freeland with got a lot of tricks. Okay, so I have no interest in we won't stack guys in Colorado against Freeland. I mean, you think that I'm going to go stack Miami as chalk? And it's not happening. So, and I promise you, if Bobby were here, he would second this. So we're both going to go down the drain. If the freaking Miami, what are they now?
Miami
Marlins? Who's on the Marlins now? I have no. If all those turkeys are on the Marlins get there as chalk for you're telling me against Freeland, then they're going to beat me. That's my thing. So I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So look, here's my strategy on baseball this year. All right, I talked about this yesterday, but my goal in MLB this year is simply to say I'm going to use a lot of chalk, and then I'm going to go against one piece of chalk that I think is bad. Okay. Right. So the answer today for me: do I want to use the pitcher
against the Marlins or the hitters against Alcantara? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah. Okay. Do I want to use Freeland or do I want to use the Rockies bats? And with the way that the pitchers are set up on this slate, I think that taking Kyle Freeland would be bad. So I'm more inclined to go with the Rockies, even as a secondary or as a four-man, maybe. I'm not sure. But I'm more inclined to go with the Rockies against Alcantara, who I expect to be the heaviest owned pitcher on the slate. Same thing as Miz yesterday, right? Like I had White Sox up against Miz yesterday because he was 40% owned. Like I'm fine with just doing that. So I think I'm more inclined to go with the Rockies. Now, if I were to not go up against Alcantara, what I would probably end up doing is trying to go with like, I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm probably not playing Miami one way or another.
Now this is what you gotta do. Okay, so it's like funny thing about baseball. It's like we all have our favorite teams to like always play. Okay, and there are teams that I played every freaking week. So the team that I want to give you guys that kind of goes in line with what James is talking about here. You want to play a team that has some leverage over against a good pitcher. I mean, I'll tell you to go play the Royals. That's going to be that's going to be because the Royals actually have players that I've heard of. You know what I mean? That can swing the bat. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested if you want to give me listen, the Sale looks very good. He projects very well. He's going to get owned. I mean, for good reasons because he's freaking Chris Sale. But then again, it's hashtag baseball. And you'll get and I get all the same Kansas City guys. I presume that all these guys are still on the team, but like all those same dudes, like Perez, is he still on the team? And Bobby Witt Jr., is he still on the team?
Yeah.
Like all these righties, you know what I mean? Like and then I don't know. That I always love playing the Royals and I don't know what the weather is in Atlanta, but it can't be that bad, because it's Atlanta, right? So,
Right.
And the other thing, Bobby used to tell me that you could run on sale. So if that's the case, I mean, I imagine Bobby Witt is gonna. What's Bobby Witt nowadays? $6K. I mean, he's got to be, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's fucking expensive.
So that would be mine. As far as like, intentionally getting leverage. What's cool about it is I'm probably getting some of it anyway. So that's what I would do. Oh, I just got a notification that Colt Keith is out. What team is he on?
Oh, it's Detroit.
The Tigers. Okay.
Fine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's so cool about baseball. You know what I mean? One guy, who cares? I don't have to redo everything. I'll just swap him out. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I'll give the next terrible second baseman or whoever.
To Ari's point here, what's your criteria for increasing Burrow's ownership besides me liking him? Look, man, all you do is play chalk. So like, if you're on him, then I got to increase his ownership a bit. Also, I mean, we've heard now 3 people, not just you, say that he's likely going to catch a little bit of ownership. But yeah, I think, this I built way earlier when I thought that Houston was going to be chalk, because it looked like initially it looked like Houston was going to be chalk. And that put me on Sale and Raggins as a combo. And I didn't think that I would need to have salary one way or another. But now it's looking like Miami and the Dodgers are going to be the ones eating most of the ownership. And since I don't necessarily really want to play Miami, the Dodgers project well. I think that I can go down at my SP if I want to. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I can probably just end up going Dodgers with Rockies. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, hey, okay. So let's again. I'm really trying to catch up to see who's still on these teams in baseball. But the other team that I played like every day last year was Oakland. I don't even know if they're called Oakland anymore. Whatever it is, whatever they're called. And I didn't care whether home, road, whatever it was. And there happened to be in a good stadium, I think, for hitting.
Yeah. And
Gausman is, one of the pitchers people are going to be playing, I guess.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. And as far as the Dodgers go, it's I think people are going to play them. When you say they might not be that popular because of the presence of all these pitchers, you know what I mean? Not all these pitchers, but there's 7,800s and these. What's Burrows? What's his price? Like nothing, right?
Yeah, it's like 6,200, I think.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So Burrows is what team? He's on the Angels?
Yeah. No, he's Houston. He's up against the Angels.
No, that's what I'm saying. So why don't we just go play the Angels? That's another team that I like that I played a bunch of. Yeah,
I don't mind that. I mean, I think that there's a handful of teams that you can use because look, these slates, so really quick, like as you're looking at this page here, or go back to the player range outcomes. And for positions there's a filter in the top left-ish underneath salary range orders. Just click the P just so that we can just look at pitchers here.
I think I got them here. Wait, pitchers. Oh, right.
There you go. So like here's the pitchers that we have. We don't have anybody projected above 20 fantasy points. We have a handful of dudes who are projected under 15, Gausman, Burrows, Sheehan, Nelson, Williams. I mean, like these guys suck, right? The second best pitcher on this slate is probably Raggins, and the third is Kirby. And outside of those 3 guys, Sale, Kirby, and Raggins, however the fuck you pronounce his name, you're not going to feel good about any of these guys. So any of them that are going to be getting ownership, Gausman, Burrows, Williams might get a little, like any of these guys. Alcantara at 40% is fucking terrible. Any of these guys, you can just attack them. And so, yeah, Athletics are fine. Angels are definitely fine, especially Trout. If Trout is back, like the Angels are basically just like Houston, right? So I don't mind them at all. You could go with Arizona up against Sheehan. It's not like Arizona is low upside. Seattle has dudes. Toronto has dudes up against Severino in a great ballpark. Like that's the same play as the Athletics, just at similarly low ownership. So all of these dudes, this is one of the slates that it's hard for single entry, I think, because like
let's do this. So I'm some guy. I'm some guy. I want to play a baseball lineup, and I have access to some projections and do whatever. So I'll pull up a thing, and I'll get a lineup together, and I'll hit this thing and say, okay, so who looks good? So Alcantara, right? That's just going to show up, right?
Yeah.
And then who is the other guys? Gausman, but like who's like what about this Burrows character? Okay, so let's not even play Burrows. Let's not be that sneaky. Let's play somebody good. Let's play Sale.
Yeah.
Let's play him in 9,700. Okay. And now let's say I want to play. Wow, I'm getting this guy at only 4K. Maybe play him. And let me see who are the. Can you stack these Dodgers? I don't know. 4,200 for Muncy. These guys are going to be real much more expensive soon, right? I mean, these guys are always. And Freeman. Let's just say. Okay. Now I'm already playing Alcantara and like the foremost like famous guys on the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
Can you even do this? No, you probably can't do this. So you could probably get away with almost playing whatever you want here. So the thing is, I think these Dodgers are going to end up just getting jammed.
Man, I think you're right, actually.
And I played Sale. God forbid you play Burrows and you almost can't even spend your salary. So I think the Dodgers are going to be pretty damn freaking popular. The only thing is that do people really want to wait to? Yeah, I think they don't mind. So I think the Dodgers are going to get jammed, and I think that everybody else is kind of open for business. Like you mentioned Miami. I mean, yeah, sure, I guess. Astros, I think people like playing the Astros in general, right, at home. What about Toronto? Are people playing them? I mean, I happen to be getting Toronto in my stack. So again, if I get them, it's probably because other people are getting them, honestly. Yeah. So, I mean, my top exposures right now are Dodgers, then Toronto, then Houston, and then like the Angels, and then Kansas City. You know what I mean? Like, so these are the teams that probably a decent amount of people are going to play. So do you want to, like you said, I mean, what levels of leverage do you want to take? I mean, do you want to say, okay, F everyone, I'm going to play, who did we say? Colorado stacks, like you said. Kansas City stacks. You want to play, you want to pitch Ron Nelson against the Dodgers. You know what I mean? Like how nasty do you want to be? I don't like taking the pitchers to take my stand that way. Like you said, like I wouldn't take Freeland, because even if Freeland has a good game, first of all, a good game for Freeland is like 15 points.
Right. That's exactly right.
He's not a ceiling guy, where every hitting team is a ceiling. You never if you somehow get like the bad Alcantara, like Colorado should score 10 runs. I mean, they just could. But if you get the bad Sale, I mean, Bobby Witt could score 30 fantasy points by himself. So if you're going to get that direct leverage stuff, I do think that hitting is going to be the way to do it.
Yeah, I think you just got to do it. I think you just got to play the Rockies, frankly. You just got to play the Rockies, dude. Look,
is Todd Helton still on the team? No.
Like in Matt Holliday
or Dante Bichette, right?
Look, they got some dudes. Go to the Rockies. They got some dudes. The Rockies are going to be.
I'll tell you the one guy I like. There is one guy I liked on the Rockies last
Hunter
year.
Goodman. I'd almost guarantee.
Right, the Goodman. Right.
Yeah, look, like the Rockies.
Wait, Jake McCarthy's on the team? Okay.
Yeah, and he's leadoff, dude.
Beck, I like him. I remember him.
There's dudes here. I'm telling you, man. The Rockies.
Dude, wait a minute. So this is what I got to deal with now. So you're from Colorado, right?
I am, yeah.
So here we go. So now I got Dodgers and Colorado.
No. Hold it. No. Pause the fucking. No, absolutely not. I fucking hate the Rockies. Okay, I'm not a Rockies guy.
Okay.
But like, what I was trying to say is they will be the worst team in the league by far. But they will not be historically the worst team by run differential that has happened in the modern era again, because their offense will actually probably score points this year. Their pitching will be dog shit, but like they will score some runs. So I think they're at least as good of a play as the White Sox yesterday, probably better. I think Alcantara is terrible.
So with respect to by the way, with respect to construction again, just to give you, I'm going to go 5-man stacks in the on DraftKings. Yeah. The only thing I will do, and this is literally no reason for this, except for the fact that I've just won a lot doing this, is I also take 4-4s on DraftKings, just because again I've won like 3 GPPs with 4/4s on DraftKings,
Yeah.
so that's good enough for me. And aside from that, I'm just going full correlation. And then FanDuel, I am playing nothing but 4/4s and 4/3s. And on FanDuel, what am I getting on FanDuel? On FanDuel, not really a hell of a lot of difference, honestly. Like Dodgers, Astros, Toronto, Miami over there, I'm getting.
Mhm.
What am I pitching over there? Let me just see. Any difference? No. Sale, Alcantara, Kirby,
Yeah.
Gausman, King, whatever. So
Yeah, that's just what it is. That's what it is today, and that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, really quick, while I have you here,
Yeah.
I made a new update to the portfolio manager.
Okay.
You run over to that portfolio manager. I'm also doing an update right now to update Dodgers ownership as well as some batting orders. But I made an update because there were some problems that were happening. I think you need to hit the login. There were problems with upload IDs with the way that I was holding them in the database, and I couldn't figure out a way to orient them correctly. So I said, fuck it. Let's just make it so that users grab the IDs on load. So now you'll see in that load DraftKings FanDuel CSV thing, you'll see refresh contests. So hit that. And what that does is it'll actually go and grab. So now select a contest that is in there. If you click on that, it'll tell you all of the contests that are on DraftKings.
Oh, okay.
Right? And you can select the contest that you are building for in there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then you can load the selected pricing from there.
But there's no difference though, is there?
Oh, there is. So look, the way that DraftKings API is set up for their contest IDs, they don't actually designate whether something is a main slate, turbo, night.
Oh, Jesus
whatever.
Christ. You kidding
me? They don't.
Oh,
right.
God.
So I had to, the way that I was pulling it was sequential. And that was fine 90% of the time. But then 10% of the time, they would just like load these slates in a weird order, right? Like you'd have a double turbo slate or you'd have an afternoon slate and like it would fuck up the pricing. So I ended up, I think that this will be a much more consistent way to manage things. Load the projections, yeah. And then that middle one always disappears. I'm not actually sure why it does that. But
okay. That confused me. Okay.
And then
let's see what they do for me here.
Yes, there is.
We're just taking the optimals for openers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just grabs optimals.
And so, how do we get rid of this bottom thing? Actually, I don't have to get rid of it. So, what would this recommendation be here? So, if we, how do we? Oh, there it is, the bottom here. Let's look at the stacks.
Yeah. So look at stacks first and see what you get. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty aligned with chalk. These guys project pretty well.
Yeah, Miami, Seattle. Let's go.
Hey, there's Athletics too, and the Angels. Look at that. This is your fucking wet dream.
There we go. I'm down.
Yeah.
Now, does it say what type of stacks they are, or?
No, I should add that in though. I should probably add in like 3-mans or whatever's. But yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Houston is there, Colorado is there, no Dodgers stacks. You could just X out Miami, guys, and then just like run with that. I would say for the portfolio manager for MLB.
Well, what you could so now we talk about portfolio management.
Yeah.
It's been argued to me, and I think that this makes some sense, is that if you are going to play like a bunch of Seattle, then it's okay to play a bunch of Miami.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like smooth out your, you don't want to do all like hyper leverage, So I think this distribution is actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree.
Because you're playing this Miami chalk, but I don't see any Dodgers anywhere. And you're getting Seattle Athletics and California. I mean,
yeah. And that's the way that I build out my single entry stuff too, is I'm like, I don't care if I have Miami as long as I have Seattle or Athletics. What I'm going to build today is likely going to be like Sale, I don't know what, SP2, and then Dodgers Rockies, probably. I mean, it won't be hard to build it. I think that from like a price point, it's not going to be all that difficult to build. And I want to lower the volatility of my lineup by having chalk with my leverage. So that's the way that I build things out. And when it comes to like portfolio manager, if you look at the Miami stacks too, I'm sure that the Miami stacks that you're getting have plenty of things smattered in there that give you relative value. Like,
Can you do that?
Yeah, go up, and you can go to in the left in the filters, go to micro filters, or no, go to macro filters, and then scroll down a bit and say specific stacks, and just include Miami.
And then hit.
Yeah, and then just hit portfolio. And then that'll isolate out all of the Miami stacks.
Oh, look, these are my kind of lineup. Look at this, Severino.
Yep.
Oh, let's go, Ryan Nelson. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Those are the good ones. I'm telling you, the portfolio manager's good, man. People are like, "Oh man, I can't switch over from SaberSim." Yes, look, these are fucking good lineups. These are good ones.
To illustrate a point, I mean, I will tell you that is that the SaberSim stuff gets you, depending on what settings you use, and I use the portfolio management settings there, gets you a lot. This was a big point of contention, like all last season, was that people were, I was complaining, people were noticing that you're getting a whole ton of chalk, coming from there, and it was written off as being because of the portfolio management setting. They were saying, what was I going to say? They were saying that that's what it does. It like smooths it out in a similar way that I just kind of described with your, with balancing Miami's off or whatever. But the difference between the way people were used to getting and what they started getting was very caused a lot of stress. Let's put it that way. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We absolutely will see. I'm pretty happy with where things come out. There are a couple of things I want to add to it. Just some mostly some like combo designation stuff. Cake Boss in the Discord had an interesting idea of like, if you upload a portfolio, having a function that forced as large of stacks as that portfolio could manage for each lineup. Like if you upload a portfolio and there's like 2-man stacks, 3-man stacks, stuff like that, being able to have a button that would then say, if this is a 2-man stack, how can we get it to a 5-man stack based on projection?
Okay.
That would be a cool thing to have, I think. Other than that, though, I think it's in a really good spot. When I started building out all the new functions, I started building them out for MLB last year. So it's already kind of got that influence. Like I started with MLB with that. So I think it's in a pretty good spot. When I get back into MMEing, if I do, I'm excited to use it. Right now I'm just using the hand builder though, because the hand builder is awesome.
Well, so let me ask you this. So you mentioned that you were going to, make changes to the ownership to the boroughs and whatever it is. So what does that do for you? You know what I mean? Like you're going to change Burroughs' projected ownership from 13 to say 24 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And so okay, so that goes into the system here. Like how does a user kind of, I don't know, how is that good? Like why is it good to know that? Like how do you actually apply that?
Well, okay, so if I'm building out a set of lineups, right, and I am trying to aim for a certain balance between volatility and upside, the most important thing for me to know is ownership. I can build MLB lineups simply off ownership without projections. I think ownership is actually more important than projections in baseball. And I'd probably argue ownership is more important for the vast majority of sports, because of the way that you should build to win GPPs. Think about it this way. If I am building out a lineup to try to beat other people, what do I think is more important? knowing how the other people are going to build and building something to beat that construction, or projecting things accurately towards the median?
Okay, so the answer is completely dependent on the sport. Like if you, in my opinion, if you,
Sure.
and we talked a little bit about this. I mean, I really believe that the NBA is just a battle of who has the best projections.
I'd agree with that.
And baseball is literally the opposite. Like baseball is the battle of who could take enough edibles to really see the leverage that they need on a particular slate. You know what I mean? Like, are you do you need to take enough edibles to play the White Sox every night against the top pitcher?
Right.
Or can you take like only a microdose amount to like maybe take the Rockies against Miami every once in a while, you know? And that's really what baseball is how much you willing to bend your freaking brain and ignore like the player names and when you say Ray-Gons or whatever, like, dude, you got to look at these things as not players at all, or not even human beings. It's like you got to look at it like Keanu Reeves, the end of the Matrix, with everything that's like a little data point, like on this freaking thing, and they don't even exist. You know what I mean? And more so even in baseball than like anything.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So the reason why I think that you can build with ownership, even in NBA, to be clear, when you are building things out, and I think about it all in terms of data points, I mostly think that, and this is specifically for smaller fields, okay? Large fields, it's a different thing. But for smaller fields, for the things that I play, for the higher dollar stuff, for qualifiers, for tickets, stuff like that. If I can say, okay, I think the field is very smart, and I think they're going to make good decisions, then I want to be aligned with a lot of those decisions. Then the question is, what decision are they making that's the worst decision out of the good decisions that they're making? And if I can beat that, if I can simply identify where the field is making a key mistake in their construction, I don't have to do anything else. I can just leverage that mistake, and it doesn't really matter what the projections say, and it doesn't really matter what the construction around that choice is. What matters is that there was a mistake that was made, and I can leverage that to pass the people who made the mistake to the greatest degree. So the reason why it works so well in baseball and why I'm so successful with it in baseball is mostly because the mistakes that people make are usually around a false sense of security with regards to the things they think have upside. For instance, today with Sandy Alcantara, if 40% of the field is going to play somebody who by most metrics was the worst pitcher in baseball last year, I don't have to make any more decisions, I just have to make that decision and say 40% of the field is making a mistake. How can I leverage that mistake best? And then there's options, right? There's direct leverage, stack the Rockies. There's indirect leverage, just fade him and play somebody who is priced similarly and build the same roster as everybody else who is already playing Alcantara. Or there's another form of softer indirect leverage, which is to have a different roster construction altogether while not playing out Sandy Alcantara, right? All of those are, I don't want to play Sandy Alcantara because I think he's an awful decision, but each one is varying degrees of leverage on the Alcantara decision. So I don't have to make any things like that. The theory of DFS was always, how can I make the most money by making the least decisions? And this is, for me, the easiest application of it. I have to make one choice. Otherwise, I can just say the field is really smart. I'm just going to play the rest of the chalk. But one decision, Sandy Alcantara is a really bad play. I'm going to stack the Rockies against him. Just play the wisdom of the field for the rest. I only have to make one decision.
So, I didn't really mean it this way, but things that I say about an individual slate, people aren't going to remember, and no one's going to give a shit like a day later. Right. But hopefully, something you say as far as process and like philosophy and just how to think about DFS might resonate. This is how important it is to focus most of your time on figuring out what everybody else is going to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't remember or don't know, there was a huge lawsuit brought against DraftKings employees. Okay. Mm-hmm. and I don't know what was it 5 years ago, whatever it was, and it almost like ruined them for DFS forever. Okay,
Yeah.
and the reason why it was brought was because not because DraftKings employees had information on whether someone was going to be 1 point higher than someone else in projection. It wasn't because they had inside information on their minutes. It wasn't because they had information on their injury. It was because they had inside information on ownership. Okay.
Right.
It's because they were not leveraging their knowledge of baseball or whatever sport it was. They were leveraging solely the knowledge of what everybody else is playing. And that in and of itself is evidence of how important it is. You know, they don't give a shit. Nobody cares about who's going to do well because everybody's kind of close for that. But if you can figure out what everybody else is doing, then you it's almost impossible like to lose. Like here's another great example. Okay, so well, I shouldn't probably say this, but the Circa Million pool. Okay, that's a pool that not the Survivor pool that everybody's hearing about, but there's a Circa Million pool out there in Vegas where it's very simple. You pick 5 games against the spread, okay, and every week, and you get 1 point if you win and 0 points if you lose and half point if you push each game. And whoever has the most points at the end of the season wins all the money. It's a whole prize payout, whatever. Mm-hmm. And 99% of the people play it incorrect. I mean, I would say literally 99%. Okay. What everybody does is they grind and they figure out who they like. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they try to pick their best 5 teams against the spread to try to get the best record possible. And that is just completely misses the whole point. Okay. Right. The point is that you're not trying to beat the bookie. You're trying to beat 70,000 people. And what they should be doing is trying to figure out who everybody else is doing, realize that long-term, you're probably not going to do better than 50%. Okay. And try to get leverage that way. And there are trends and there is analysis that you can do. And I've spent only probably 50 man hours doing it, you know what I mean? To just try to figure out what people like to play and what type of teams people play. Mm-hmm. You tell me, you give me a snapshot on who everybody's playing in that contest. I'm going to have like a 700% ROI in that.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So that's when I ask, you know, like, so what's the point? Like, why is it so important to go from 13 to 24 on a certain player? Well, I mean, that affects your entire approach to the slate, especially in baseball, the way results distribute. Now, it's difficult to figure out exactly how to apply that. You know what I mean? Like, you tell me that he's going to be 20% on more than he's supposed to. But I think instinctively and directionally, you know, it's enough. You know what I mean? Right. Now, I don't know how I feel about your overarching comment about, well, okay, I only need to make one decision. And for me, dude, the guy was the 40th worst pitcher in the league and he's 40% on. What more do you need to know? I don't like that too much, just because for me, it's like he's projecting the way he projects for a reason, regardless of what he did last year or whatever. But the point is that you're right in that is really, if you could be right on that one thing, then on a short enough slate, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And so that's kind of how I just model most of what I do in DFS is how can I leverage it? And I do it in NFL too, right? One of these running backs is going to be 45% owned, right? Is he actually that good of a play? No. Okay. Well, then all I have to do is just not do that. Same thing in, you know, League of Legends or Counter-Strike or any DFS sport, right? NBA is the hardest to do it because projections are so good. And also because ownership is so bad. Ownership is really bad in NBA right now.
Is it really? I don't track, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I don't track ownership. I told you I do it for all the sites. I do it in golf and in MMA and other sports like that. The reason why is because they're non-late swap sports, and you can do it. Like it's completely impossible to track ownership projections in late swap sports because they change, you know, throughout the course of the night. But so I don't even make note of it. You know what I mean? Like what ended up. But so you have a better idea than I do. So in general, what is it? what is it? Are the chalk being underprojected? Like that's what usually is the case.
Yeah.
Like these guys are projected 55%, where everybody knows they're going to be 90, but yet they still keep it 55.
Well, it's two-pronged. One, guys get underprojected in terms of ownership for sure. And I'm guilty of that at Paydirt as well. I was good last year, but this year has just been an absolute shit show. And I think that a lot of it is just that the league is just on fucking crazy skates at this point, with all the tanking and all the injuries and all, like, it's just there are so many guys, and the salary cap almost doesn't matter so many nights that you kind of just get to play whoever you want. And because of that, you don't get pigeonholed into certain plays. Like most nights, I said this last year as a complaint, most nights last year, there was upwards of like 30 to 35 good plays, any given slate. This year, it's like 50. And so trying to figure out where that ownership is going to distribute is almost like the only way to do it is to use sentiment analysis on the most popular optimizer in the industry, aka SaberSim, and who is SaberSim jamming. And that's pretty much who's going to be the chalk. But if you try to project it out algorithmically and you don't have that input, you're mostly fucked. And that's before considering late swap, which, to your point, it just completely destroys any kind of analysis.
Speaking of which, are you getting quick NBA? I don't know if you even looked at it, but I'm getting a bunch of Jeremiah Fears tonight.
Ooh, Fears.
I presume that if I'm getting him, then other people are getting him, I guess.
Let's go take a look.
Wait, Nick Richards has been ruled out.
Yeah, Fears is, he's going to be a lot. I currently have him projected for 66% ownership.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And he's my top value as well. So
okay.
I see it being Fears, Pritchard, and Sam Hauser.
Yep.
Three.
Yep.
So yeah, those guys. Boston Pelicans chalk going to be. But yeah, I think that I think ownership is the most important thing. I've been saying this now for 2 years, and so I put a lot more focus on that as the decision making that I have. For instance, like if you load up the range of outcomes really quick
for DraftKings baseball.
Yeah, I assume you're already built, and so we can just.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I just finished, so I'm
good. Baseball's easy.
Yeah, baseball is very easy.
And if we screw up one guy, it's not going to kill your slate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I fucking swap them out.
Like NBA, where you miss one guy, that's the end of the whole slate.
Right. Go to the hand builder really quick.
Wait, where is that?
If you scroll up a little bit in the gold nav bar there, hand builder. So over on the right side, click where it says median and go to ownership, and then say fetch optimal. Okay, so that's the current ownership optimal.
What does that mean? The ownership optimal.
So this, instead of pulling in a lineup that's the top overall median, it's top overall sum.
So this is going to be the most owned lineup.
This is the lineup that has the most sum ownership.
Okay.
So this one, let's see, it's actually that's 5-man Miami. Yeah, that's absolutely a lineup that people will play. Trout, Altuve, Ohtani with a Miami stack.
Okay.
Yeah, people will play that, right? So if I was just looking at this for single entry, and this is how I usually use the hand builder, and I just wanted to say, okay, how can I like make it so that I could play a high owned lineup while keeping a lot of the volatility down and like introducing some relative value? How would I do it? Well, first I would X out Sandy Alcantara there, right? And then I would see, okay, is there another pitcher that I can just like slot in there? So go and click on the X on him on the hand build side.
Right here?
Yeah. Okay, we got 7,500 left. So is there a pitcher that I can play that just slots in?
No.
Not really. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't go that route, but I know that I don't want to play, or actually, no. Okay, so lock him back in. The little plus sign over on the left next to Sandy Alcantara on the left side of it. Nope, over in the table to the left. Sandy Alcantara clicking back in. So now do it with Sale, right? Remove him from that lineup. And okay, we have 9,700. Can we slot somebody in? We might be able to slot in Reagans, right? Like he's only 17% owned. So that's removing 10% ownership or so.
Right. Yeah.
That seems a little better, but it's probably still not the way that I would go about it. So what I would do is I would look at this and I'd say, all right, well, it was giving a Miami stack with Alcantara and Sale. So then I would go down and I would hit clear. And then I would just build that lineup back up using the plus signs over on the left. But I would not go with the Ohtani or Sale or anything, or without Alcantara. So I would go Sale. And then I would see the teams up there. I would isolate Miami. And then I would just, add back in the Miami guys that I want to play and have ownership from them. And then I would say, okay, well, I knew that it was Alcantara. So then I also want to use Colorado guys. So then I'd isolate Colorado in, and then I'd hand build out a lineup that is a combination of those two teams. Well, and then I would find a pitcher.
Well, you can do this. This is what I used to do, a kind of a derivative of this with NBA. Yeah. So what I would used to do is I would build an optimal using roto grinders, right? Yeah. Before whatever their optimal was, I would start with that. And then what I would do was like slowly but surely just pivot off of each one. But the way I did it was I would replace one guy with like a guy that didn't project as well, but was like a run back, like to make the lineup a little more correlated. This was like back when I was first learning how to play. And then I would again just try to get a little less ownership. Like the idea is like, what do I want to play? And then why do I want to fade myself? Right. Yeah. So here, this is like the main one here. So one thing you could do, I mean, like nice and easy is you say, well, you don't want the Alcantara. So like maybe you keep everything else, take the whole Miami experience out. And then now what about, why don't we put that Rocky stack in or something?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So now we still have good plays, whatever, but now we're just reinserting with Rockies. You can certainly do that.
Yeah. So that's basically what I do now. And I do it in the hand builder when I'm building out single entry stuff. When I'm building out MME, I use Portfolio Manager, and I'm just kind of trying to isolate things down. And I don't really care what it gives me in that point because I don't have to do this fine grained stuff. Right. But that's basically how I use it. So
all right. I'm gonna get out of here. Okay. But this is helpful. Baseball, basketball tonight. I'm gonna update UFC ownership. I'll have that to you later tonight. Cool. First thing in the morning. And got all kinds of shit going on between the March Madness and the UFC and the I don't know if you're watching, but my AAU team starts up tomorrow. I'm dealing with that stuff. Yeah. Like a big freaking day. But hopefully we take some DFS stuff down too.
Yeah, let's hope that we do. I'm hoping to win the I don't know what the fuck I'm in tonight. Something maybe the 333. I don't know. Anyway, I gotta go too.
See you later.
Talk to you later, man.